Hi guys, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial, and we carry on with the river fly box. So what you see in the vise is a deer hair Comparadun, and without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise is a Hanak H330 barbless hook. This one's finished in bronze and it's on a medium wire. The thread I'm going to be using today is from Simplify. It's code A2, you might not be able to see that, but it's a black GSP thread. So what I'm going to do first of all is get some wax onto my thread, and I'm going to just bring that in behind the eye, get a few turns of thread onto the shank of the hook. I'm going to come back till I leave approximately 2.5–3 millimeters. Then I can take away my rat's tail. Now the deer hair Comparadun is something that should be in every river box. It's so effective. Now what I'm using for the deer hair is I've got some coastal deer hair here. Now as you can see, if I move the patch slowly up the camera here, I've got different shades, and for this Comparadun I want these lighter fibres just here at the back of the cape here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take approximately a centimetre's worth of the hair, just off camera here. I'll dress it up and show you once I've got it off the pelt. And you can see I've got it here. Now I'm going to clean this out, and I'm going to do it over my bench with a comb. So basically you take your comb, if I can do it here so you can see, and you can see all these loose fibres. If you don't comb these out, what happens is when you put the deer hair into your stacker, it ends up not stacking properly, and you don't need that problem when you're just starting out tying the fly. So once I'm happy I've combed it out, I'll grab my hair stacker and just pop it in. Excuse the banging. Okay, a little tip: once you've stacked or banged it against your vise, give it a little twist, and when you pull out your stacker, you should end up with all the ends just nice and even. So I'm going to grab that out now with my left hand. What I'm going to do is just remove any dead ends. Hopefully I can see one line there. I'm just going to take my time. It's not going to come. I might spot it later on. So basically I'm going to transfer it across to my right hand. If you lose a few fibres in the transfer process, don't lose any sleep about it. So what I'm going to do now is I want the length of the wing to be about the length of the hook. So for a size 12, that looks about right to me. I'm now going to come over, loose turn initially, and then once I'm content that it's sitting correctly, I can grab that in. Then I'm going to come back. I don't know how well you'll see, but I'm coming back slightly on the deer hair. And what I want to do this time is I'm going to come in with my scissors and cut at an angle. Now what this is hopefully going to do, when I come through the cut ends here, I'm going to be able to make a slight taper for the body of my fly. So just gently come through the cut ends. I'm trying to keep those nice long fibres just right. I know it looks a hot mess at the moment, but you just need to trust the process. Trust the process. Some outliers there. Then as I work this part at the back here, you'll see it's starting to create a taper in the body. I know it's not a particularly neat taper at the moment, but it is a taper, and that's important for the look of this fly later on. So I'm fairly content with that. I've got some little bits and bobs, as you can see here, hanging out, but I'm not overly worried because that'll all be getting covered up. Now, for the rib of this fly, I'm using some Spartan ribbing material. Now, this is no longer available, sadly, but the next best thing to this is Vineyard's Buzzer Wrap. It does a similar job, but I just find the Spartan stuff, which I've got one spool left actually, but it's much stiffer. It survives trout's teeth a lot longer, and that's why I like it. It's very robust. Yeah, it's a shame you can't get it anymore, really. So I'm going to trap that in. I'm going to come all the way down around the bend of the hook. Some of them fibres are just misbehaving on me there. I'll just keep them right. Now, for the body itself, I'm going to start with some electric hare and squirrel. This is from Chuck and Duck Fly Time, and what it is a natural material with just little glimpses of flash through the body. Now, before I start to dub it on, I'm going to add a little bit of wax to my thread. It just helps the dubbing adhere to the thread. See a sparkly bit straight off the bat, and then I can just dub that on. I want the body itself to be fairly thin, because with an emerging pattern, what you want is the wing to sit up in the surface film and the body to be hanging just below. Now, I'm happy to fish a couple of these on a cast. I'm just going to use my needle here to ease that up. But fishing it on its own as a single fly, I mean, a lot of places now they only allow one fly, so it might be that that's all you can do is just fish that single fly. So I'm going to bring that up. Now I can see I'm a little bit shy of what I need, so I can come back, grab a little bit more of the dubbing, what I like about the Comparadun is it is a very natural looking fly, but what I don't like is when it hits the water initially, I find it quite hard to pick up. So when I'm actually fishing away, once I've cast it, if I've not got my cast bang on the money and I know exactly where the fly's landed, I do have trouble picking this up on the water. But it's something that you put up with this pattern because it's just so effective. So I'm just going to bring that over to trap in my rib. Now there's some red fibres, and I think that was actually in the dubbing packet. It's part of the dubbing, unless it is something I've picked up on my vise, but I'm not overly keen on having it in, so I'm just going to pick that out. And then once I've got that in place, again I'm just going to manipulate that deer hair forward, and then I can take that away. Now what I want to do, I'm going to get a couple of turns just for belts and braces purposes. I'm going to come in with my brush and I'm going to ease out some of the fibres. Now I don't want it particularly bushy, so once I've eased them fibres out, I can come in with my snips and just trim it up till I'm happy, like so. So that's looking not too bad at all. Now for the wing or the legs or the wingy legs bit, what I want to do is I'm going to create a dubbing loop. Now I want this dubbing just to be a little coarser than the body. So what I'm using here is Faro hair dubbing. I think this is from Neely's Flies. And I've already got a little bit out of the packet, and you can see here it's a much coarser dubbing. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just pull it all out, and then I'm going to catch it into my materials clip. So once that's done, I can come in behind my sumo thread and split the thread. Split's really easy. The sumo stuff, it's excellent for that, and I do this a lot, splitting thread, so it's ideal. So now I've caught it in, I'll just give it a quick twist up. I know it looks like a lot of dubbing in there, but don't worry, we will correct that shortly. I'll just give my vise a clean while that's spinning. Could really do with giving my whole fly tying area a clean up, if I'm honest. Steve Cullen recently posted a picture of his fly tying space, and it did make me smile, because mine never looks as tidy as that. So I've spun up the bobbin, and what I'm going to do next is just pull out, and you can see how spiky this is. This dubbing is perfect for this. Gives that impression of legs. So I'm going to get 2 or 3 turns in behind the deer hair here, and then the remainder I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to bring that tight in under the deer hair. Now the first few turns is really to cause a dam, if you like, just to push that deer hair up and sit Comparadun style. And once I'm happy that's in place, I can get a couple of turns in at the eye there, and then before I come in with my whip finish tool, we'll simply get a little bit of varnish onto the thread, and we can come in with a whip finisher. Now this can be tied in various sizes, even down to size 18. I wouldn't go much smaller than an 18 with a Comparadun. An 18's fiddly, trust me. Size 12 is probably, 12 and 14s are my sort of go-to for this type of pattern. Now what I do with all my dry flies really, or emergent type patterns, I'm not going to trim away that rough dubbing, I like it as is I'm going to treat it with Piscari Dry X, and then once I've allowed it time to dry, that'll go into my fly box and be ready to use. As I say, 12, 14, 16s, on the odd occasion a size 18 will do a job for you. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you all in the next one.